Hi again guys, and welcome to another installment of Rivals, and in this particular pick we're pitting America's two top tier supercars available on Gran Turismo 6 against each other. Now, some may be wondering why we aren't featuring the Corvette and or the Viper as well in this category. The main reason for that is because although an argument can be made that the ZR1 and the ACR versions are supercar variants of the Viper and Corvette, the base model of the Viper and the Corvette is not a supercar. They are sports cars, or more appropriately, super sports cars at their core. Whereas these two vehicles are pure supercars in their only and at the same time ultimate form, the Saleen S7 and the Ford GT. So the question is, which of these two highly capable supercars is going to win? Well, let's go out to Daytona to find out. First up, we have the Saleen S7. This is one of my personal favourite supercars, and a supercar which, on Gran Turismo 6 at least, doesn't really see as much use as you'd probably expect that it would. There are a variety of factors which add together to cause that, such as the fact that it's located right at the end of the dealership in the American dealer, and down that end, people don't really buy that many cars. You've got a couple of Vipers and the Stilo Red Devil, but apart from that, there aren't really a huge amount of outstanding models to be hanging around there looking at. Another factor is that it's of course not a premium, which lowers many people's view of it, and that it's not as powerful or as fast as it arguably deserves to be in comparison to other models on the game in the supercar category. But what do you actually get when you buy a Saleen S7? Well, it's pretty expensive at 420 grand, but for that you get a very, very strong all-round supercar. It's known for being pretty challenging in terms of handling, especially when you tune it higher, but with the right tuning, it's a formidable track car, and the straight-line performance is incredible. For a vehicle with so much power, it does an excellent job of keeping that power in check, and really not running away with itself as it could very easily do. In a straight line, it can easily give the Ford a fantastic run for its money, even though the top speed isn't quite as good. Now, moving on to the Ford, there are of course two different versions of the Ford GT featured in road form, and both of them are premium, both of them cost basically the same, have basically the same specs. The only real difference between the two is the paint options. They are virtually identical, so we can compare either of them in this comparison test. Straight off the bat, the Ford GT, both in real life and on the game, has a significant price advantage. The Saleen is over 400 grand, the Ford is only 150. That is a huge saving, almost 3 Ford GTs for the price of one Saleen S7. As far as performance, within the supercar category on Gran Turismo, the Ford GT has always been one of the strongest supercars in the game all round, and although around Daytona it was slightly slower than the Saleen, around half a second, it's still an extremely strong overall vehicle. Value for money is very good on the Ford, it is a premium model, and it is the quicker of the two in terms of overall straight line speed. But that's overall for the individual tests of the car. Now let's actually put them up head to head in our top trump style matchup. Now, as always, there is extra information provided in the video description down below about both vehicles if you would like to know more. The individual lap times of both vehicles are listed down there, as well as links to more in-depth reviews that I've done for each of these two cars, where we just get into the way they drive, the way they perform, their upsides and downsides, in a more in-depth, longer form way. But getting to the specs, which one actually wins? Because these two cars are both very, very strong supercars, among the best in the game, and they both have very similar specs in a wide variety of ways. So which one wins out? Well, as you can immediately see, Although they are similar in many ways, they do edge each other out in significant ways. The Ford is a lot cheaper, for instance. The Saleen has a significantly larger engine and significantly more horsepower per ton, despite the fact that it doesn't have a huge amount more power. The main reason why it has so much more horsepower per ton is, of course, the lower weight. Now, as far as points, I was expecting this matchup to be very close, maybe even 3 or 4 points apiece. It actually isn't. The victory on this particular occasion goes to the Saleen. Now, the Ford is cheaper and has a higher maximum PP, so it gets 2 points. But the Saleen has the larger engine, more power, significantly more torque, lower weight, and a higher horsepower per ton. And I didn't expect it to be such a runaway victory. 5 points for the Saleen, 2 points for the Ford is not the kind of outcome that I was expecting. I really did think that this was going to be an ultra close match. And interestingly, I also expected the Ford to be quicker around Daytona. Now, of course, that's dependent on the driver, the tune, etc. So as always, we will not be attributing a point based on that lap time. But it is interesting to note that the Saleen was roughly half a second quicker. So overall, the surprising winner, to me at least, and happily so, it is my favourite of the two, is the Saleen this week. So as always, feel free to slap down below what cars you would like to see go head-to-head in a Rivals match, maybe 2, maybe more, and as always, if you have already suggested it, there's no reason to say the same suggestion twice, but if you do think of new ones, slap those down below, and maybe they'll turn up in a future Rivals match. But that's it overall for this particular matchup. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.